So before I start this video, don't forget the kickoff is live from 4 o'clock this Sunday. It's Spurs versus Newcastle live on the Kickoff YouTube channel. I'll see you there. So the last time I did one of these solo videos, I was laying into Ten Hag and Manchester United. Today, it's Chelsea's turn. But before I do, I want to say what I said in that last video about how glad I was that Luke Shaw wasn't playing fullback because that enabled us to hammer them down the flanks. How glad I was Amrabat didn't start because he would have given them more defensive cover in the midfield. How glad I was that Anthony Martial did start because Højlund is way more threatening. Well, Ten Hag put that right. Everything I thought he should do, he did in this game. However, Chelsea could not have made his life any fucking easier. What a shambles that club is. We're talking about them now in December. The season's over. For a club like Chelsea, an FA Cup, a League Cup, that means nothing to them. They've got to be at the very least challenging to be in top four. And they are a mile away from that. After all that money spent, yes, there is some talent in the squad, but nowhere near what should be there for that level of money spent. Not even halfway there. This is the moment where every Chelsea fan who's been trying to give Poch and these players time has to go, in my opinion, oh shit, we're in a real problem here. Because so many of these players are on massive contracts, and if they're not good enough, how do you get rid of them? How do you get money off of them? And I pointed all of this out at the start of the season. You've bet the house on them. And if they don't come good, you're fucked. And right now, so many of them don't look anywhere near the level of a Chelsea footballer. And I think most of us have sat there going, Chelsea, they look a bit shite, but surely with all that money spent, they will come good. 100 million on Enzo, 100 million on Caicedo. Of course, that's going to come good at some point. Looks a million miles away. Defensively disorganised, the midfield can't keep a hold of the ball, and going forward, I've seen more accuracy from me when I'm pissed up trying not to hit the toilet seat. So we'll look at some of the bigger moments in particular and go in a bit more depth here. Højlund had a shot early on, which was saved by Sanchez, and I have to say, Sanchez was man of the match. It should have been 5-1 or something. And this is off the back of losing 4-1 to Newcastle. They conceded 4 against City. Obviously, they scored 4 as well. Against Brighton, they conceded 2. And to be honest, we got very lucky to get that penalty. I did not think it was a penalty. So they've been right in their luck lately anyway. But when that's happening and you're not getting punished, as a fan, you can bury your head in the sand a bit and think, oh, well, it'll come good soon. It ain't, man. Good save, to be fair, by Sanchez. And then comes the penalty. Now, for me, Enzo arrives in the box. It's a little bit clumsy. I didn't think it was a foul, this. But in the modern era, VAR, they slow it down, make it look terrible, and then the referee gets one image and obviously is going to give the penalty. I didn't think it was a penalty, to be fair. And this should have been the wake-up call for Chelsea to switch on. And luckily for them, Bruno Fernandes does a stupid little hop, skip and a jump. He's trying to reduce the power to gain accuracy to make it so that, all right, it's not going to be the hardest shot, but it's going to be so accurate that the keeper can't save it. The point is, though, if you're going to do that, it needs to be right in the corner and pretty much unsavable. He didn't do that. It was a pathetic penalty, actually. You can see there how close it is to the keeper's body. It was such an easy save. Now, to be fair to Bruno, he's one of the few players who's consistently dug Man United out the crap this season because they've had basically all bad performances in the league so far. This is the first good performance of the season for me. And it came at a time where they were under a lot of pressure. So I do have to give them credit. Like, I didn't expect it. And yet the wake-up call still doesn't wake them up, man. Look at the state of it. And even just as a football fan, this is embarrassing to watch because when this ball comes in, you've got 4 Chelsea defenders, narrow as fuck, not covering the space anywhere near enough. So much space here around the box to pass it around. Take your fucking sweet time if you want. You've got all day, lads. And the players who should be bombing back, I mean, Enzo's there. Caicedo is trying. Like, but where is the midfield cover? Where is the help? And this is also part of the problem when you play Mudryk, Sterling and Palmer, who are all attacking midfielders and less likely to help out at midfield too, lads. Conor Gallagher, after $1 billion spent, is still arguably Chelsea's best player, and they were going to get rid of him. Tragic. Ironically, Man United have got a similar situation with McTominay, though. Maguire has the shot, bounces back out from a block to McTominay, who slots it home. It was deserved, and it was coming. I mean, it was the least surprising goal of the night. He has the cross in from Bruno Fernandes, who's floating it right into the middle of the box. This is a carbon copy of Jamal Lascelles' goal against Chelsea. They're making the same mistakes over and over again. Luckily, McTominay doesn't bury it. Keeper saves it twice. But criminal defending. There's no leadership at the back. And the mad thing is, after all of that, Chelsea go right up the other end, hit them on the counter. You've got Raheem Sterling, who does everything right. Jackson just needs to sweep it home immediately. You can see the keepers coming out. You don't have time for a touch. I don't care how bad you are. This is the Premier League, motherfucker. This is food and drink for any average Premier League striker. First time, back of the net. This absolute moron. Honestly, I'm not even a Chelsea fan, right? He's annoying me with how shocking he is. Yes, he scored, I think it's 6 goals in 14 games or whatever it is now. Let's be real. 3 games he scored in. One of them, he got a hat-trick against 9 men. Ignore that shit. The guy is just nowhere near good enough, and I've been saying it for months now on the kickoff. This touch was it was cowardly. He bottled it. I want to make it as easy as possible for myself, like I did against Spurs. You can't do that at Old Trafford when the defenders are closing in on you, the keeper's coming out. You've got to be big enough in that moment to take that goal. And he wasn't. And I don't think he'll ever will be. Shite. If he proves us wrong, fair enough, but he's shite as far as I can see. If you're a Chelsea player and you see him do that, you're like, what the fuck we're doing here? Why we're trying to serve this prick up? You can see the keeper's coming out. That's where he should hit it. We'll just do a comparison. This is where he should strike it versus where he tries to. You fucking moron. You absolute tit. Just to contrast Manchester United's defending to Chelsea, and Man United don't defend great in my opinion, but they're all right. They're not the worst defensive team in the league by any means. You see they've got men around this guy. They're making it as hard as humanly possible. You might want to try it sometime, Chelsea. And Cole Palmer even still manages to squeeze this shot through pure accuracy. He sacrifices the power completely. He goes for a cheeky little one right in the corner. And I've got to say, I think Onana should probably save it. It's right in the corner, but it's so slow from the boot. Onana had all the time in the world, should have saved it. But Chelsea get out of jail. You're genuinely watching that first half thinking, wow, Man United should be 3-0 up here, and somehow it's 1-1. Chelsea can go in at half-time, regroup, realise we've been shit in the first half, sort ourselves out, and then the Man United crowd are obviously going to be on the backs of the players a little bit. The longer we can keep that going, the more the pressure ramps up, and then take the game to them. They did none of that. They came out and looked worse. I don't know how, because they were shite in the first half. But what a player Cole Palmer looks. To be fair to him, he's been a ray of light in a very crap season for them. Ironically, I'm surprised City have sold him, to be honest, because I think he'd be right at home in a City team. And the final goal of the game came from Garnacho, who has really been impressing me a little bit last season, to be honest. I was singling him out, saying I think the kid's got something. This season, he stepped it up a level, and the confidence is there. I don't know quite how good this lad can be, but the one thing's for sure, he should be starting every game right now for Man United because he's having a way better of an impact than Rashford is. Beautiful balling. I mean, it is. And again, Manchester United players queuing up unmarked in the box of Chelsea. Just pathetic from Chelsea. And Scott McTominay buries it at the back post. And I've got to give a bit of credit to Scott McTominay because he is one of the few players for Man United who has turned up and dug them out this season in big moments like this. I don't think his game technically is great. I think he has quite a lot to learn about positional sense, and you know, he does go wandering off sometimes, but the kid's a trier and he is trying. Look at them. 1, 2, 3 of them. I mean, my God, Chelsea. Oh my God, man, look at the state of it. I feel like Chelsea's midfield are just shit at tackling. They're just so weak. And another chance here for Garnacho. It should have been about 5-1. So defensive positioning sense from this Chelsea back four was piss poor, and even when Reece James came on, he had a bad game. In the midfield, 100 million each, so fuck. We've got to remove the price tags from this Chelsea team and just evaluate them for what they are. Not good enough right now. They're not performing anywhere near the level. You're not controlling the game in the midfield. You're not keeping a hold of the ball. You're careless in possession. Tackling isn't good enough. It's shocking. Which is why Chelsea are so fun to watch, because they don't control the game. It's end-to-end. It's chaos. It's crazy. Because your midfield can't control the fucking game. And you've spent how much? You want a fucking refund on some of this lot. Raheem Sterling obviously has quality. We know he can score. We know he can create. But when it comes to the modern game, he makes it look like he's tracking back. He's fucking not serious, man. Cole Palmer has a lot of quality. He reminds me at times of a bit like Mesut Ozil.
Calm your mouth.
Also, fans, calm down.
Listen, don't.
I'm just saying he's got a style of football that is similar to that.
You bald twat.
I'm not saying he's as good as him yet. Maybe physically he could improve, be a bit stronger, and that'll probably come in time. He is a young lad. Mudryk, again, wasteful in possession. Yes, he's fast. I'm yet to be convinced. How many fucking matches has this kid played? 28 games he's played for Chelsea. He's scored 2 goals. I think he's got a couple of assists, but not loads. It's just nowhere near the level. And the fee for him will rise to around 80 89 million pounds. And Jackson is an absolute fucking waste of space. Yeah, he scored a couple. They were pretty much unmissable, a lot of the ones I've seen him score. He's shite. I would write him off. I just don't believe he's got the shooting accuracy and just the general composure needed to be a good striker. He's so far away from even looking like that, I don't think he'll ever get there. Chelsea need a striker big time. And even when I look on the bench, they had about 4 or 5 players who I didn't even recognise. For the level of money spent, and yes, there's some injuries. Is there quality there? Yeah, there's some players who have ability. I'm looking at Reece James. I've seen Enzo look good. I've seen Caicedo look good. Even Mudryk at times for Ukraine. Flashes of brilliance. Palmer, real quality in that lad, actually. Chelsea have overpaid beyond belief. They are a mile away from doing anything in the Premier League right now. Chelsea actually need to spend more. I can't believe this, but they've done such a shocking job. They're going to have to. And I don't know what their funds like, what FFP is like with them right now. And the thing that Chelsea fans always used to say is, oh, well, we'll get good value. We'll get value back. Yeah, but they used to be able to do that because the players who you had in the squad had achieved things with that squad because they were being carried by big Chelsea names, legends of the club. This lot are on mega contracts. They're young. A lot of them have achieved all. You'd be lucky to get a fiver for some of this lot. So that leaves Chelsea in 10th place. Earlier in the season, we thought that was a misrepresentation due to the amount of money they'd spent. But the more we watch them and the more we forget about the money, we look at them and think, yeah, 10th. Even look at the form. Lost one, won one, lost one, drew, won. It's hit and miss. That's Chelsea, 10th place. That leaves them 11 points off of top 4, which is basically the bare minimum for a club the size of Chelsea in that level of investment. However, even what would have been acceptable for Chelsea this season, like a top 6 finish, looks miles off. I said it on the kickoff a couple of weeks ago when Pochettino starts throwing his players under the bus before December, he's worried. And I think we're seeing why. Big changes are needed in January if they are going to salvage anything out of the season or even just look to build next season. So that's all I've got to say on the kickoff today. Don't forget, we are back Sunday, 4 o'clock. Spurs versus Newcastle. It's a big one. I hope to see you there live on the Kickoff YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.